one, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live.
Right now.
Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul Sporting with the talk. First lady from New York,
Brooklyn.
All my people, you rocking with the chat.
Hit that.
The like button would tell me where you at. You know, Step from the NBK. Born and raised up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's her.
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to the morning recap show. I appreciate you rocking with me this morning. Guess who's a happy Knick fan this morning? The Knicks have won 6 in a row, twice at Chicago. That's really hard to do, to beat one team twice, back to back, both games at their place. And the Knicks were able to do it, and it wasn't even close. I mean, the Bulls threatened, I guess, at some point. But for me, I never felt like the outcome of the game was ever in danger. The Knicks are playing extremely well right now. And you could say, oh, the Bulls aren't a good team. Oh, the Knicks have been beaten up on teams that, I don't know, been missing their players, key players, whatever it is. Listen, think back to the beginning of the season. The Knicks wouldn't have even won these types of games, even if a key player was out, right? So the Knicks are playing extremely well. We're going to get into it. Their defense, their point of attack, their transition, like a lot has improved for this team. So we're going to break it all down. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. Let me just give a quick shout out to Jeffrey Clafter, Ajay, appreciate you, Tim Smith, Knicks Nation 112, Eddie F. I might have said that already. And whoever else is here, David G, J Tap, Stephen Fox, Foxy, I appreciate you, Angel Torres. Let's get into it. Just setting up the game, coming into the game, the Knicks were 15-13, 6th in the Eastern Conference, 13th in offensive rating, 12th in defensive rating. We started the same team as we did the last game. Obi Toppin remains out with the non-displaced fracture in his leg. It remains to be seen when he comes back where he'll fit in the rotation. Will it expand back to 10 and he replace Sims? Or because the team is playing so well, will they just rock out and leave everything the same? So that remains to be seen. We got a little while to go for that. Chicago 11-16, 11th in the standings, 20th in offensive rating, 10th in defensive rating. And they started the same 5 players they started in the previous game. Lonzo Ball again out for the season. But let's get into the individual stats. RJ Barrett, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, shot 47% from the field. Quiet as it's kept, RJ Barrett has been playing pretty well during this 6-game winning streak. And we'll go over it a little more when we get into the player spotlight. I thought last night, he hit his 3-point shots. He missed some bunnies at the rim. And so I actually thought he didn't shoot well. But when you looked at the stats, he actually shot well last night. Definitely much better in the second half, finishing at the rim much better in the second half. He's not forcing it. He's playing within the flow, of the offense. He didn't shoot well from the free throw line, but that's an aberration. He's been shooting better this season. It happens like that. But overall, RJ Barrett has been playing well offensively and defensively, right? Brunson, 22 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 threes, 6 3-pointers. For somebody who I still think is playing hurt, he's out there and he's giving us what he has, and he looks regular to me. Let me know if he looks hurt to you. He looks regular to me. 6 3-pointers, really kept us in the game in that first quarter. First half, we ended the first half on a 17-4 run. Brunson had a lot to do with that. Grimes is giving us a glimpse of who he's going to be when his shots start falling on a consistent basis. He is a demon on defense. He knows where he's supposed to be. He moves his feet laterally. He has active hands. He's a good off-ball defender. We know all of that about Grimes, but that shot hasn't been falling. And last night, it did. 22 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 3-pointers. Right? Remember in the last game against Chicago, I believe it was 4 3-pointers, but 3 of them were daggers that we really needed to help, extend our game, extend the game, and win the game. Actually, some big shots from Grimes. Really happy with him. Randall, 19 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. I was super, super duper happy with Randall last night. He wasn't featured in the offense as much as the games before, and that was fine. I thought last night the Knicks moved the ball much better than they have in the past few games. So they were moving the ball, moving their bodies. You could see the spacing on offense was there. Randall wasn't forcing it. I don't even know if he scored in the first half. He probably did, but he didn't look like he was doing much scoring or even much shooting. But as far as the rebound, giving us second chance points, the steals, the assists, the activity on defense. And this is something that I don't know about the rest of you, but I've been asking for Randall. Play both sides of the ball. I get it. You're a big part of the offense. You may not be able to play defense 100% of the time. A lot of players who have that type of responsibility on offense may not play well defensively 100% of the time, but get it up to 50, 60, 70, 75%. And I think over the past few games, that's what he's been doing. He's hitting his rotations. You could tell that, wherever the ball is, he's looking to see, where his man is. Like the awareness is definitely up. The effort is up. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Julius Randle, the steals, the activity, just really, really engaged. The Knicks didn't shoot well last night. They shot 40.2% from the field. They shot well from 3, though. They shot 38.6% from the free throw line. They were 17 for 44. Over the past 6 games, they've been shooting, I think, like 36%. Remember, prior to that, the first 23 games, the Knicks were abysmal from 3, right? So think about it. When we think about how far can this particular team go if there aren't any changes, obviously our top 3 players have to play lights out for the rest of the season, for sure. Our defense has to continue the way it is, and we have to hit the 3-point shot at a better clip, right? Because if you're not doing that, it's going to be hard for you to get back in the game. If you're not defending, you can't hit the 3-point shot. How are you getting back into a game? Over the past 6 games, the Knicks have been doing that. For Chicago, DeRozan, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, wasn't bailed out with a lot of fouls, right? Levine, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Second game in which he was efficient. Vucevic, just 9 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, the Knicks defense was really good last night, and they shot well. They shot 46.8%, 40% from 3. But when you think about it, when you look at it, they took 77 shots to the Knicks 92 shots. That's it. The Knicks had more opportunities, at the basket. So even though they were shooting a better percentage, the Knicks were able to win the game in really good fashion. I was really impressed with the Knicks. And I said, and I think someone else in the chat said it as well, it's going to tell me something if the Knicks are able to win this game, to win 2 in a row, because a team is going to make adjustments, and they were able to do it. So they showed me a lot last night. Mitchell Robinson quietly making an impact on the team. 6 points, 9 rebounds, 4 of them offensive, 2 assists, 2 steals, 1 block. Everybody is doing their part, making the most of the minutes that they're getting. IQ did not have a good shooting game, right? I think it was 1 for 12 from the field, 3 points, 2 assists, 1 steal. It happens. You have bad shooting nights. It happens. His defense is always there, right? So his defensive presence was there. He remained engaged on the defensive end. You could play well and not shoot well, right? Tibbs says that all the time, and I agree with that part. you can play well when you're not shooting well. Julius didn't shoot well, right? I think Randall shot 42, 42 well, right? Sometimes your shot doesn't fall, but do the other things. And that's what's happening. Sims, 15 minutes, 4 points, 3 rebounds. Hartenstein, a little over 13 minutes, 3 points, 10. His rebounding rate has to be up there. I mean, 13 minutes, 10 rebounds, 6 of them offensive. Him and Mitch do an excellent job of getting us second chance opportunities. The difference is when Mitch gets it, he converts, he dunks it, right? iHeart, maybe he'll get an offensive rebound and put it up. Maybe he'll tip it in. A lot of the times he'll just get it and pass it out and give us a second opportunity. But those two guys are horses on the offensive boards for us. And that's what you want. Be a star in your role. Whatever time you have, whatever time you get, come in, give us what you have. iHeart did that. McBride, close to 14 minutes, 5 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 for 3 from the field. Played the same, defense he usually plays. Again, made the most of his minutes. I have a little concern about the playing time. I mean, last night it was a blowout, so we were able to get Rose in, we was able to get Svi in, we were able to get Ryan in. So it kind of balanced out. I think Barrett played 38 minutes. I think he played close to 38 minutes. Brunson 32, Randall I think 36. But in a regular game, these guys are logging a lot of minutes, right? It's a 9-man rotation as it is, but Sims is only getting 10 minutes. McBride is getting 14 minutes. iHeart is he's down to 13 minutes. So the starting five is and quick. They're logging a lot of minutes. I'm not sure if the rotation is going to expand, within the next few games or so. But I have concerns about whether or not they're going to be able to play at this level. Down the stretch. Let me just check in with the chat. Appreciate you, Shot Powells. Pudge Nice, appreciate you as well. Definitely, Foxy, please hit the like, subscribe, reminder bell, share your comments and the link on your favorite social media platforms. Yes, appreciate you, Foxy. Cool, Cal G, we back up. Hey, we are. Let me ask the chat. Do you think this is sustainable? Like, do you think the Knicks are just a flawed team taking advantage of other teams that's not playing well? Or do you see something in the making with this team? Let me know what you think in the chat. I see a little something in the making. At the same time, the top 3 players really going to have to perform at this level and better. There's still some things Julius and RJ can do better, but for right now, I'm pretty pleased with what's going on. Jeffrey Clafter, Grimes' energy on D is infectious. It is. There was a pick with him and iHeart didn't step up, and I think it was DeRozan hit the 3. And Grimes, even though this is his second year, he put his hands up like, yo, what's going on? You were supposed to step up. So he's definitely engaged on defense. Really like what I'm seeing from him. Jeffrey Clafton, Randall played well despite lackluster shooting. He really did. You could really see the difference. Good morning, Bobby. Hope everything is well with you and your fam. Appreciate you. Eddie F, I think the D can hold because we have fit young athletes who will step in front of guys at full speed. Rose and Fournier just wouldn't do it anymore. In the old eye of the tiger, knees to thing. Jeffrey, yes. Hope the internet cooperates. It has not been cooperating with me. I'm on my laptop right now. Super frustrated. But I'm going to take care of it. I'll be back in New York soon. Put it that way. Rebounds and turnovers give Knicks 10 to 15 more shots a game. Yeah, no doubt about it. Second chance points. We'll talk about it when we get to the team stats. And Randall is doing a good job on the offensive um, boards as well. All right. We talked about the other players' stat. Yeah. So let's get into the team stats. Obviously, the Knicks outscored them 114-91. And I mean, basically, when it was like 77, 79, 80 points, you knew the game was over. I mean, at one point, the Knicks were up by 30 points, right? Knicks out rebounded them 50-39. They had more assists than the Knicks. The Knicks had more steals, 13-3, right? Very active. I think Randall had 3 of them. McBride had 2. The Knicks had 10 turnovers. I'm gonna get back to that. Again, the Knicks did not shoot well. 40% from the field, 38.6% from 3, 72% from the free throw line. A lot of that had to do with um, RJ Barrett, who was, I don't know what RJ Barrett was. 1 for something, 2 for something. I think 1 from 5, 1 for 5 from the free throw line. Points in the paint, 40. Second chance points, 14-0. 14-0. And I want to make this point about second chance points. Before I do that, Chicago only had 2 offensive rebounds and they didn't convert them, right? The first 23 games before the Knicks went on this 6-game winning streak, they were ranked 28th in opponent second chance points. They gave up a lot of second chance points. There's only 30 teams in the league. The Knicks were 28th, giving up 16 second chance points to the opposing team. In the last 6 games, the Knicks are now ranked 2, giving up only 9.7 second chance points. That needs to continue because when you think about defense, there's different aspects to it, and you guys know this. Perimeter defense is one part of it. Being able to defend the paint, that's another part of it. Rebounding, that's a part of defense. Transition defense, that's a part of defense. But rebounding, right? If you rebound the ball, they're not going to get, when they shoot and you rebound, you keep them from getting the offensive rebound and a potential putback. So the Knicks are doing much better. Second in the league from 28th, that's impressive, to 2. Now, the Knicks are playing at a slower pace, so less shots are going up. I get that, but still, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with that. And points off turnovers. This wasn't good last night, but overall, the Knicks are doing better. The Knicks only had 10 turnovers. That's very good. But Chicago got 24 points off of those turnovers. They only scored 91. So that was like a quarter of their offense. A quarter of their points came off of the Knicks turnovers. And that means when the Knicks turned the ball over, at least last night, they had a tough time getting back in position, getting back on defense to stop them from capitalizing on their turnovers, right? Wasn't good last night. Wasn't good the first 23 games of the season, but it's better now. So the first 23 games of the season, the Knicks were ranked 22nd in opponent points off of turnovers. Right now, they're ranked 9th in the last 6 games, I should say. They're ranked 9th in terms of giving up points off turnover. So they're doing a much better job. And this is how your defense gets better. This is how your defensive rating gets better because you're taking care of all the different aspects of defense. So I really like what the Knicks are doing defensively, not just the perimeter defense. That's better too. And we talk about that. But I just wanted to point out there's other areas on defense in which we're doing a better job. All right, let me check in with the chat before I get to my general observations. Jeffrey Clafton wants to know, do you think this defense is sustainable? He asked that early in the show. What do you think? What do you think, Nick family? Do you think the defense is sustainable? Salute from West Texas. Appreciate you. Ron, man. Appreciate you rocking with me this morning. Grimes could have easily had 30 last night. What I noticed is these guys will not keep feeding the hot hand. I'll take a look at that. Shot Powers couldn't take over the paint scoring and shot horrible from the free throw line, but must be talking about RJ Barrett. Salute Shot Powers. Sean Kearns, good morning. Hope all is well with you and your family. Why doesn't someone want to trade IQ and Obi? You mean why don't they want to do it, or why do they want to do it? This team is headed, Pudge Nice, appreciate this team is headed to, I believe you're saying headed to the playoffs. Listen, to finish in the top 6, they're going to have to continue doing what they're doing, and they're going to have to do it against some of the better teams in the league. Now, that being said, Milwaukee, Philly, Cleveland, I think we're 1-1 with Cleveland. Some of those top echelon teams, the Knicks just aren't better than, right? They might be able to get a game here and there, but they're not. I don't think they're better than those teams. However, the rest of the pack, absolutely. The Knicks, in my opinion, has just as good an opportunity as any of those other teams to finish in the top 6. But we're going to go as the top 3 goes, and we're going to get into that a little more. Shout out to you, Jay Boogie. When you're scrambling, it's harder to get a body on folks, which is true, and that is true. Grimes, McBride, IQ, they move their feet. They do such a great job of stopping the drive. Right? They're in front of their guy. Their man puts the ball on the floor to drive to the basket. They move their feet and make the offensive player pick up their dribble. And that's huge. Because if they don't do that, now Randall or Mitch or RJ or whoever has to come off their man to stop the drive. Now somebody is open. Right? And that was one of the reasons why we were giving up so many 3-point shots. But when you got Grimes in there, you got McBride in there, you got IQ in there, moving their feet, stopping the drive, everybody can stay pat. There's not a lot of rotation needed because they stop the guy from getting in the lane. And that happens a lot. Watch those 3. It happens a lot. And so there's less need to scramble. And quiet as it's kept, RJ and Randall are doing a better job at that themselves. Better defensive rebounding, and our 3-point shooting last night won us that game. No doubt about it. Ashley Ink1, the Wiz from the West Coast. Appreciate you. You got a few hours more sleep. I started at 10 o'clock this morning. Salute Queen. Grimes, Deuce, and Sims are keepers. It was great that we don't depend on one player. I think they're keepers and support roles. And we're going to talk about, we'll talk about it later. I guess we could talk about it now. Let's make no mistake about it. As well as Grimes and Sims and IQ are playing, they just don't have the usage if those other guys are not playing well, right? But when those other guys are playing well and you have those guys being stars in their roles, that helps the team, right? But without those 3 guys, the bench players, they just don't get enough usage to be able to move the needle alone. And that's why it's a team. I appreciate what they're doing. And that's how you build a team. What's your role? Be consistent in that role, game in and game out. And that's what that's what we're seeing. Aj, defense is always sustainable. If the refs are consistent, offense is up and down. I mean, defense is always sustainable if they put out the effort, if they work the schemes. Yes, it is sustainable. All right. We talked about McBride and Grimes perimeter defense. Impressed with the Knicks' effort, because think about it. The Bulls lost in overtime. You think they wasn't amped up, and they're not playing well overall. You think they wanted to lose 2 games in a row to the Knicks? You don't think they came into that game ready to play, wanting to get a split 1-1, right? Usually when you win one game, sometimes you're a little satisfied. Even if you're saying to yourself, I can't be satisfied. We got to come in, we got to play. You already got one, right? That there was no mental letdown from the Knicks in this second game. They're just playing at and game wise as well. They're just playing on another level. I'm just really, really impressed with what I'm seeing. Really impressed. I was impressed with the ball movement. I had some concerns that, we would become Randall centric. He's been playing well. Not that I didn't want to get him to get the touches. I just wanted him to get the same touches within the flow of the game. But the concern was unfounded. I really focused on Randall the last few games, just following him on offense, following him on defense. He's moving the ball. He's moving his body. The team is moving the ball, moving their bodies. It is impressive. Their way they're playing. Will the defense continue? I think so. I think so because you're rewarded when you see the fruition of your labor. You're working hard on defense and you're getting wins. That's a reinforcer. I believe the Knicks will keep that up. I'm gonna talk about Randall and RJ in the next segment, but this is a question that Freezy, shout out to Uncle Freezy from Blanche Tears, brought up. Will Obi re-enter the rotation upon his return? It's a bit early, but I thought it was an interesting question because the Knicks are playing really well right now. And then sometimes when you have it going, sometimes you'll bring a player in and put them right back in, but sometimes you're concerned about that messing with the chemistry. And so sometimes you'll just leave the player out or put him in slowly, not trying to mess up what you're doing. So it's going to be interesting when Obi returns, whether he re-enters the rotation. Tibbs to me right now is like real gangster. Like, doesn't matter. Like, this is critical level right here. Whatever your contract is, whatever. I got to play the best players right now. This is what I got to do, So when Obi comes back, what is he giving us that Sims is not giving us? What is he giving us that iHeart is not giving us? He's not going to rebound the way iHeart will rebound. He's going to shoot better. He's not going to defend the way Sims defend. Did you see Sims out on the perimeter against Alex Caruso? 6'10". Moving out. Now, it was Alex Caruso still, but he still knows how to drive and get to the basket. Sims wasn't having none of it. Forced him to pick up the dribble and pass it. Sims is overrated. And actually, I really like the Sims and iHeart pairing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm not going to be upset if Obi comes back. He sees what's going on, so he knows that you need to get on the boards and your defense definitely has to be better. We cannot have weak links, right? So he's on the bench. He sees it. Ron Cleveland, Obi won't ruin the defense because Tibbs won't play him. It's going to be interesting to see because if Tibbs doesn't put Obi back in the rotation, then we know he's just going all out. Like I'm not looking back right now. I'm playing the players that's giving the effort, and that's it. And not just giving the effort, but that knows how to play. Now he's kind of stuck with RJ and Randall in the sense that if they didn't buy in, what are you going to do? It's kind of hard to sit them. But fortunately, from what it looks like over the past 6 games, they have been buying in on the defensive end. It's me. Appreciate you. I like how RJ dealt with DeRozan last night on both sides of the ball. RJ was solid last night. I really liked the way RJ played offensively. I thought he took the right shots. I thought his defense is much better. Yeah. J Tap, Jeffrey Clafter, Tibbs, coach of the month so far in December. To me, it's the same old Tibbs. but it's the results. If your team is winning, you're going to get the accolades. If your team is losing, you're going to be on the hot seat. That's just how it is. J Tap, I see a lingering injury in Obi's future. Yeah. JJ, I've rarely seen a big defend on the perimeter as well as Sims does. Really, I mean, and he did it twice. Alex Caruso was one. I can't forget who the other one was the other player was that he switched out on. Superb in terms of him getting down in the defensive stance and moving his feet. And that's why I'm saying he's playing a 4 now. Remember, he was playing a 5, right? He was playing for Mitch when Mitch was injured. He was playing, iHeart would start. He would play behind iHeart at the 5. Or he would start at the 5. iHeart would play behind him. He's playing a 4 now. So when Obi comes back, one of them, unless he's going to expand the rotation, and he might, and I think we should. I don't know how tenable 9-man rotation is. So the rotation may get expanded, but if not, you take in iHeart and his rebounding and offensive rebounding and giving us second chance points, even though his defense is not that great. His position defense is good. He'll get there, but they'll score anyway. That's just it with iHeart. He's in position, but they score anyway. But his defense and his offensive rebound, getting a second chance opportunities, that's huge for us. So you're going to take him out and put in Obi, or you're going to take Sims out and put in Obi, or you're going to expand the rotation. It remains to be seen. Old head fact, Sims needs more playing time. Where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? We can use a few more minutes from the bench. Our bench got outscored last night. Remember, who on the second team is scoring for us? Not McBride. iHeart, maybe. Sims, not really. It's IQ. He's the scorer on that second unit, and last night he was 1 for 12 from the field. So our bench scoring has really dipped with the 9-man rotation. Not just the 9-man rotation, with the defensive emphasis, right? We're emphasizing defensive players, and the bench scoring has definitely gone down. Maybe try upgrading the bench. I know the Knicks were trying to get Eric Gordon out of Houston, older player, obviously, to come off the bench. They wanted a first-round draft pick. From what I understand, who knows what's true and what's not. The Knicks said, no. Pudge Nice, you can't rely on IQ. That's why he's on the block. I don't know. I mean, I like IQ for our second team, even though, he just had a bad game last night. It happens to the best of them, But for the most part this season, I thought IQ has been playing well, even in the games in which he hasn't shot well. He's been playing well for us defensively. But it comes down to, are the Knicks going to pay him? They got to pay him. They have to pay Obi. Are they going to pay him? Almighty Finesse doesn't want Eric Gordon. Yeah, I hear you. I definitely hear you. Travel safe, Sean Kearns. Travel safe. All right. I want to talk about these two guys, Julius Randle and RJ Barrett, in terms of spotlighting them. I didn't put Brunson here because you know what you're going to get from Brunson every single night. Even if he doesn't shoot the ball well, he's still going to play well. You know what you're going to get night in, night out. These two guys, if we want to make it to the playoffs, these two guys are going to have to continue to rock. We could talk about Grimes and McBride and IQ and the defense they're playing, and you're absolutely right. The perimeter defense, the point of attack defense has really helped us, and we need it. But you can have all of that, and these two guys stink up the joint, you're not going anywhere. Let's just talk a little bit about their stats. So I got Julius on the left, RJ Barrett on the right, and what their stats was the first 23 games of the season and what their stats have been the last 6 games. Now, I will say, and I think we will all agree, stats don't always tell the story, right? You got to put the stats together with the eye test or the stats together with the context to get the full story. Um, what's interest there's a lot of things that's interesting here, but the defensive rating for both of those guys. Julius, the first 23 games was 118.3, now it's 100, in terms of how many points he's holding um, the opponent to in 100 possessions, 100 as opposed to 118. RJ Barrett from what is that, 117.6 to what is that, 97. Sorry, it's really small on my screen, to 97.8. Like, and you could see it, with the eye test as well. You could see that defensively, listen, they're not lockdown defenders. They're not McBride or Grimes. let's not, we know that. But they're much better than they were. And the worst thing is to have 2 or 3 players playing their behinds off, and then one player just lets somebody else get right to the rim, and it just breaks down. They're doing their part. If they continue to do that, the Knicks are going to be good money. They're going to have a good shot to finish in the top 6. Randall over this 6-game stretch has not been efficient. I mean, yeah, he really hasn't been. 46.3 the first 23 games, now 43%. Maybe it's because he's playing more minutes, maybe because he's taking more shots, right? With more volume, sometimes you become a bit more inefficient. Maybe, uh, who knows? But definitely not as efficient as he was the first 23 games, but still overall playing well. His 3-point attempts is up from, what is that, 6.5 to 9.2. That's a bit much for my liking for Julius Randle. Obviously, he's not going to listen to me. Like he said, he put in the work, he put in his time. He's going to trust the process, trust the work that he put in. So he's going to continue to shoot them. But that's a bit much. 9 3-pointers per game, which is up there with the best in the league over these last 6 games, and shooting 34.5%. But if you take away last night's game, he was shooting 36.8, I believe, which is above league average. But to me, if he can just bring that down some, I would be happy. His free throw percentage is up to 85%. Listen, the Knicks are going to be in close games. You're not finishing in the 6th seed by blowing people out. They are going to be close games, and you're going to have to make shots and hit free throws, right? Julius Randle right now over the past 6, 77 for the first 23 games, 85%. Right now, and his rebounds is up from 8.4 to 11, and you can see him really putting in a concerted effort on the boards. So I like what I'm seeing from Randall. I think the shooting percentage has to get a bit better, but other than that, he's playing very well. RJ Barrett, who really struggled the first 23 games, he's coming along. He's coming along. Look at the past 6 games, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He's turning the ball over a bit more, though. Not shooting extremely efficiently, but from 41% to 43%, it's better, right? But you can really see the big difference in his 3-point shooting, 28.2%. Now he's shooting 41.2% from 3. That's huge. His free throw shooting, I'm pretty sure if we took out last night's game from the free throw line, his free throw shooting would probably be back up to, where it was. And look at his defensive rating. So the reason I'm spotlighting these two is because we can talk about Sims, we can talk about Grimes, we could talk about all of these other players. Those players are in support of our top 3 players. And our top 3 players have to play well game in and game out. And that remains to be seen. Right? They're playing well, we're winning. The team is playing well, we're winning. Will RJ Barrett and Julius Randle continue to play well? Are you betting on that? Right? I am. I'm betting on it. And if they do, we have as good a chance as any to finish in the top 6. But if they regress, come back down to where they were the first 20 some odd games of the season, it's going to be really tough for us. Good morning, sis. Dewan Bailey, Bates Bailey in the house. I appreciate you. Kareem Grant, I appreciate you. Hope all is well. Randall is playing better on defense. On-ball defense with RJ and Brunson is horrible. You think so? I mean, do you think it's getting better, though? Do you think it's getting better? And I think for both of those guys, the effort is there. I just think they just have physical limitations. But the effort is there. Randall, the effort, in my opinion, wasn't there, but it's there now. Ron Cleveland, RJ is playing harder defensively. Yeah, he is. Almighty Finesse, Package IQ, and OB for OG Anobi. Ananobi. I would do it. You know, I would like to keep IQ. OB, I'm okay because I don't see a path forward in terms of minutes for him if the Knicks decide to rock with Randall, and it seems like they are. So I don't mind moving off of OB. I would like to keep IQ, but for OG Ananobi, what would Ron Cleveland say? You gotta go. You gotta go. So yeah, I don't think Toronto would do that. Ashley Inc., I think that this intense defense and efficient offense are sustainable, but we do need to see how elite teams play and, more importantly, adjust to see if we can win consistently as currently designed. I agree. I do think the Knicks need more from the bench. I do think we need more, but just bring in two-way players who can shoot. I don't think we need anybody else who needs the ball in their hands to be effective. I just don't think we need that. We need players who can defend and shoot. Bring in some 3-and-D players. That's what the Knicks need. 3-and-D players. You know, as good as I hear people talk about DeRozan, not in this chat, but on other shows, as good as DeRozan is, he's somebody else that commands the ball. Can we get somebody else in here who can defend and help spread this offense? For RJ wants to go to the basket. Randall, who's operating in the key. Brunson, who I don't know if it's changed, but I think has scored the most points in the league from 5 to 9 feet from the basket. They all operate in the key. We need some spacers. And we need some spacers that can defend. Don't bring in somebody who could just shoot and can't defend. We did that already, right? So I agree we need help, but not just anybody. I think the front office has to be very strategic about how they build this team out from here going out. I mean, from here on out. Be very strategic. Just don't bring in people because they can score, right? We need 3-and-D guys on this team. Somebody mentioned Trey Murphy from New Orleans. I doubt if they give him up. I don't know if they're going to have cap issues, down the line. If so, we'll take them. I think somebody mentioned on another show, Finney Smith. But again, he's not going to command the ball. He's going to defend. He's going to hit the three. Any guy that can hit the three and defend, I'm good with it. DJ Shuttle, all aboard. Appreciate you. The question is, who are these players? Who are these players? Yeah. You're absolutely right. Salute, Trav B. Ryan. I appreciate you joining me this morning and joining us. Good morning. If you're shooting 37% from 3, keep shooting out, but he's not. He's shooting 34.5 if we're talking about Randall. I mean, what I will say is the 3-point shooting as of late, in terms of where he's taking a shot, I can live with. Those shots early in the shot clock where you just coming down, pulling up, I had serious problems with those. But that's not happening anymore. So right now, I'm good. I'm good with Randall. Dewan, they played a great game as a team last night. Yeah, no doubt about it. Everybody contributed. All right. So that's what I wanted to say about, RJ and Randall. If we're going to finish in the top 6, those guys are going to have to continue to play well. There's just no way around it. Ron Clark, Cleveland. RJ is never going to be an efficient shooter. All right. You're right. You're right. But shoot the 3 at league average, finish at the rim a little bit better. But if he's doing that, he will be efficient. Right? But I can kind of agree with that. I'm not sure that's going to happen. Somebody said Bogdanovich and Almighty Finesse said that he is terrible. Yeah, we need two-way players. We went that way before. Do we want Reggie Bullock back? Gary Trent Jr., I think they would probably want to get off of him. He's been struggling. Jay Crowder has been the talk at this point. Make it happen. And Jay Crowder can play behind Randall and RJ. Jeff Dallas ain't trading with us. Yeah, but listen, it's not our fault though. I mean, he was there for the taking for you, Anyway, let's move on. And in terms of the Eastern Conference, the Knicks are in 6th place. Miami is a game, and there's some separation now, right? If you want to call a game and a half separation, but at one point it was like tied or half a game. But there's a game and a half separation between the Knicks and Miami, Indiana, and Atlanta, all who are basically tied. 50. They're both 50. They're all 3 of them are 15 and 15, 500 records, 7 games behind Boston, and they all 3 of them are a game and a half behind the Knicks. Toronto is 3 games behind the Knicks, and Chicago and Washington at this point is out of the playoffs and the play-in position. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Knicks are going to be able to keep that up. Salute Ron, still Knicks fans. Smash that like button. Show your love, definitely. I feel the love with you guys showing up, but hit the like button as well. Double down on the love. Appreciate you. DJ Shuttle again. Crowder may not be what he was, but has the mentality and energy needed. Yeah, and on one of the shows we was talking about needing tough guys. Jay Crowder is that. Needing an enforcer. Jay Crowder is that. So I wasn't really high on it early on, but like I said, I listened. When I share the panel, with the other panelists, I listen to what they have to say. When I read the chat, I listen to what you guys have to say. And then, I'm able to amend my opinion. So if the Knicks, are able to get Crowder, go for it. Let's go for it. Kerry Cox, appreciate you. Jonathan Isaac, Patrick Williams, Kelly Oubre is who I'm looking at. Yeah, Jonathan Isaac is coming off an injury, though. I think he's played, I don't even know if he's played a full season. I don't even know if he's played 82 games total in the past 2 seasons, 2 or 3 seasons. So let's see, Sherwin, why do we want any of those players? Just let Cam, Sims, iHeart, Deuce is a good, but it's not a good bench. I mean, it's a good bench defensively, but offensively at this point, it just isn't. And Cam, we could forget about Cam. Cam is out of here. So we're going to have to cut the strings, no matter how we feel about it. And we may want him to stay, and we see the upside, and we see he's out of the rotation. He's not going to be on the Knicks for long, right? I love what Sims does. I love what iHeart does. I love what IQ and Deuce does. It's okay to upgrade. If it is an upgrade. Now, if you're saying that Crowder is not an upgrade from Sims, who's playing the 4, that's different. But it's okay to upgrade. Okay. Kerry Cox, now y'all see I was screaming to trade Fournier, Cam, a protected first-round pick for OG Anunoby. Yeah, Kerry Cox, you've been saying that from the beginning, but I don't even know if Toronto would have done that. I don't know those players are not an upgrade. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are, sure. At some point, we got to stop looking at what a player can be and start focusing on what they have been. Right? So when you look at Cam, it's about potential, what he can be, what you imagine him to be. When I look at Crowder, I know what he is. It's not imagining. He can hit the three and he can defend his position. That's it. That's why I think it's an upgrade. Head Crowder, similar PJ Tucker, just names, but overrated. I don't even see Jay Crowder as a name. Like if you want to say Donovan Mitchell, that's a name. If you want to say, trying to see who else is available, that's a name. Crowder to me is not a name. Anyway, let's move on to our next game. I said at Chicago. It's actually at Indiana. Like we playing Chicago 3 games in a row, but actually we're playing them next Friday. And we only played them 3 games this season. So within the span of 10 games, we're going to play all 3 games against Chicago. But anyway, this is an error. We play Indiana Sunday. And right now, Indiana is 15-15. They are 8th in the Eastern Conference. The last 10 games, they were 3-7. So they were playing well early in the season, but right now they're not. Right? Over their last 10, they're 3-7. They lost their last game. They're 16th in offensive rating. They're 21st in defensive rating. The Knicks want to continue to prove to us that they're for real. Beat Indiana. Beat the teams you're supposed to beat. Well, I don't know if I should say we're supposed to beat Indiana, but just kind of how we've been playing as of late, I think we should beat Indiana, especially the way they've been struggling over their last 10, 3-7. We shall see, but we played them Sunday. DJ Pacers need to get smoked. Pacers always bring it against us, though. Yeah. And Tyrese Halliburton is playing well. Andrew Nembhard, the rookie, is in the starting lineup. Playing well for them. Buddy Hield, they moved to small forward. Jalen Smith, not playing that great. Miles Turner, actually having one of his better seasons. But the thing about it is we got Sims now. So if Mitch, who's doing better defending on the perimeter, but if he struggles, we got Sims now, right? Sims can guard Miles Turner out on the perimeter. Pacers, they are a good team. I'm just pointing out that they've been struggling over their past 10 games, 3-7. That's where I'm at with RJ. I'm not expecting a star. He's a role player. But listen, if you're not the star of the team, you are a role player. If you're not the star, like some people use role players as a negative. If you're not the star of the team, you're playing a role. So I like RJ as long as you temper expectations. Like when I look at RJ at his height, I see 17, 18 points, 5-6 rebounds a game, 2 to 4 assists, solid defense. That's RJ Barrett for me. I never saw star or superstar. I always thought he would be a solid NBA player. And you need those type of players on championship teams. You need those type of players who can do multiple things. Now, it's just getting RJ to buy into doing multiple things. Not focusing on scoring, not thinking that, who you are is based on your scoring. No, it's based on you having an all-around game, and he has the ability to have an all-around game. I need him to focus on that. We shall see. All right. Kelly Oubre starting at the 2 or 3, depending on the opponent, would be a great move. It's interesting for me, like where the change is coming in that starting lineup. Like Brunson is locked in, Randall is locked in, Mitch is locked in. So I think Grimes and Randall, and RJ is locked in. I'm not sure what change, unless you're going to move Grimes or move RJ. It depends. I mean, I guess because of the pecking order and because Grimes is his second year, if they were to bring in a starter, Grimes can move to the bench. I mean, he could still get 30 minutes, a game. I guess that'll happen. I just don't see them moving RJ um, to the bench. We shall see. All right. About to get up out of here. Sunday, 3:30. I've been missing the pregame shows. The NBK pregame show. Obviously, we're gonna go over the Indiana Pacers, break down the matchups. I hope to make that show at 3:30, and then I'll be back here Monday for the morning recap. Let me just shout out the chat. Oh, so how to support the channel? It's not always about money. The way this works for me, it's about community. For me, it's about connection, right? And so the more you guys watch the channel, the more you hit the like button, the more YouTube sends it out to more people, the more we get to grow the Knick community, the more we get more people in the chat. That's what it's about for me, right? So when you come in, you want to support the channel, there's multiple ways to do it. Hit the like button. Is real simple. That helps to support the channel. Be active in the chat, which you guys are. That helps to support the channel. For those who watch it later, leave a little comment in the video. That helps the algorithm as well. Great show. I disagree with what you said about Obi. I think, Randall, the clock is going to strike 12 on him. Whatever you want to say, on the video. Share the show on social media, right? If you on YouTube, there's a share button. You can share it and say, listen, this morning, this is what I was doing at 10 o'clock or whatever you want. You can always give a super chat. That helps the channel. And for those who want to donate through CASHApp, the money sign DopeSoulSports. But before I get out of here, let me shout out our communities, our children. OC, appreciate you. Foxy, appreciate you as well. It's me, appreciate you. Greenie from LI, I appreciate you. What's that? Dalali Y? Now, have you changed your name or are you new to the chat? Anyway, welcome. I appreciate you joining us this morning. Ron Cleveland, appreciate you. Sharon, I appreciate you. Germ Warfare, JJ, always in the building. Kerry Cox, Jeffrey Clafter, Geraldine, appreciate you. Lucky 7th, I hope you're right about that. Wesley Robinson, I appreciate you. Dewan Bates Bailey, sis, I appreciate you. Would like to have you on. DJ Shuttle, I appreciate you. Ashley Inc. 1 from the West Coast. Ron, still Knick fans. Kareem Grant, Trav B, Ryan Deron Wayne. It's me, Almighty Finesse. Miss hanging out with you. I met him at the draft party. Actually, Dripmore, Kareem Grant, the same. Old Head, Andrew M. Just trying to show love. I know I've missed some people, but my heart is in the right place. Ally Wise. Yeah, I hope I got everybody. Anyway, I'm out of here. Knicks going for 7. Talk about a turnaround for this team. The Knicks are going for 7 points for their 7th straight win against Indiana. And listen, Knick family, if we lose a game, let's not panic. Okay? It's going to happen. But for right now, let's ride it for as long as we can. Appreciate you.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Oh, sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Don't so.
Where you at?
Don't so.
Where you at?